Hello, Samir.
Hey Svenja, how are you doing?
I'm fine, and it's good to see you again after we've been working together for more than 1.5 years.
Yes, I'm happy to see you again. What people don't know is this interaction is take number 27, but everything is perfect. So Svenja, I'm really happy to see you today. And it's for a special event today. It's the closing of our project. Can you tell us more?
Yes, yes, I'm happy that today in our short workshop talk, we have the opportunity to reflect on both projects that we ran together in the last year, EuroMed Citizen Reporters and EuroMed Citizen Visions. And most importantly, we today have the chance to dig out some particularly inspiring videos of our project. It was a very intense phase and a lot of work, but also with so many interesting encounters with interesting citizens around Europe and around the Mediterranean region. And within the next hour, we want to recap a selection of the individual stories that were shared with us in this period.
For the people who don't really know about the project, last year we started the project with Svenja and different partners. We decided to interview more than 50 activists around the Mediterranean to see how the pandemic impacted their initiatives and themselves. And that was really an amazing project. We met so many new people, and we created a platform, a website, EuroMedCitizenReporters.org, where we gathered all those interviews and with also an interactive map. And if you remember, Svenja, we had our first video a few months ago to start this project, the launch video. Maybe we can watch a few minutes from that.
Yes, let's do this.
The year is 2020. Life in the whole EuroMed region, as in the entire world, has been deeply affected during the COVID-19 crisis. Many borders are closed. The civic life and all creative and artistical forms of participation have entirely come to a standstill. Well, not entirely. We have found many active citizens who are still strong and active, creative and diverse. On the local level, they are releasing small initiatives that give hope. They are expressing their solidarity with citizens of the entire region. Intercultural dialogue among people is still alive despite closed borders or challenges on the multilateral level.
It is thanks to the enthusiasm and strong commitment of so many inspiring, creative members of our civil society networks that we are able to realize this virtual storytelling initiative and thereby react to this very challenging situation for citizens of the entire region. Yes, yeah. Sorry, I just heard there's a very important message from London. I will hand over to my colleague Samir Akasha. Samir, are you there? Wait, I will give you the word.
Thank you, Svenja. We are convinced that, especially in these days, it is important that civil society actors know about the mutual support and that we are aware that we are not alone in this pandemic, that we share our views with each and everyone, our experiences, our stories, and initiatives of hope and solidarity. And we want to use this situation, when many activities are on hold, as an opportunity to exchange ideas of how real change can happen after the pandemic.
Yeah, and we had also the special honor in that framework that Madame Guigou, the president of the Anna Lindh Foundation, declared our website as officially launched during the German EU presidency. Do you remember the
I
story
remember.
behind the hard copy?
At this time, we were in two different countries, in Germany and in the UK. And Madame Guigou was in Paris. So I called a friend of mine, Safa. Hello, Safa. I hope you're fine. And she printed the first page of the website. She put it on the board. And we had this crazy idea that Madame Guigou could, for an official ceremony, cut the ribbon. And so it was a very weird ask, but she immediately said yes, and we could have her explaining the website and doing the opening, and that was really something. Maybe we can watch this part of the video.
Yes. This was really an interesting interplay between analog and digital just at the beginning of the pandemic. And that was also something that we tried to do during the whole project, translating the activities on site to a virtual format. So let's have a look at the end of this video.
Yeah.
And we are very proud that Madame Guigou, who is president of the Annalyn Foundation, will now launch officially our website.
I am very happy to officially launch this excellent, very excellent initiative. The project EuroMed Citizen Reporters shows us how closely we, the citizens of the Euro-Mediterranean region, how we are all connected. The current COVID-19 pandemic affects every single citizen in our region, not only in their private lives, but also in their work and engagement on behalf of civil society. I want to thank the German network coordinators of the ALF, and especially my friends Caroline and Svenja and Samir, who have developed the project together with one of our Erasmus Plus alumni and the Candid Foundation, supported by the German Federal Office. The initiators have found new virtual ways of presenting the value, the dynamism, the energy, and the innovative strength that engaged citizens provide for shaping our society. I hope you can see this very beautiful poster. And I have the honor to cut the red ribbon. I declare the website as officially launched, and I wish you all insightful and encouraging experience when exploring it.
Okay, that's really a nice memory, because I met Madame Guigou in another context in Malta for an Annalyn project. It was a debate conference in Malta, and that was just amazing. And just asking like politicians to play along with very creative ideas. It was a bit scary at first, but I was really happy to see that she was going along, and that you were also happy with the idea. And so yeah, we did some crazy things, Svenja.
Yes, when we started to develop this project, we assumed that we need to publish the video content as soon as possible in 2020 and in the beginning of 2021, since we thought that the pandemic would be over soon and the material could be outdated by then. Now, nearly 2 years after, we learned that there was no need for such a rush. But yes, let's have a look at the two first videos. The first one is based on an interview with Larissa from Lebanon. And the second one is a project that takes place in my neighborhood in the south of Germany. It's a project called Baloo and Do, and the title is inspired by the famous Jungle Book, and it's a mentoring program where students act as older friends for children at primary school. Let's have a look at it.
Yes, and a few words before starting those two videos. Larissa was another friend of mine that I met in Malta. In Malta, we had this event with the youth program, the youth branch of the Annalyn Foundation, called EuroMed Voices, and some of those people ended up in our project, EuroMed Citizen Reporters. And so, just for a bit of context, she's from Lebanon, and she really wants to change things in her country. And at that time, she was studying in Exeter University in the UK. So yes, let's hear Larissa and then a testimony about Baluandu.
Conquer our fear, raise our hands in the air, screaming, we are still here.
My name is Larissa. I am 26 years old. I am from Lebanon, and I'm currently living in Exeter, the United Kingdom, because I'm pursuing my PhD in politics. So before coming here, I used to work as a research assistant in the political field in an NGO in Lebanon. My focus was on the Lebanese politics, but also on Syrian refugees and Palestinian refugees in the country. Usually, I would just go home, grab lunch, and just go out with my friends, have a beer, watch the sunset, go to the cinema, go shopping. I had a very vibrant social life, Samir, really. Not because it's me, but especially in Lebanon, you are always surrounded by friends. And if I don't have car, then someone will pick me up. So really, it was really vibrant. I had political meetings. We used to also educate debates. I am a debate adjudicator. What else? I had a project I was working on. And then we had the Thawra, or the revolution. So I was actively protesting, actively participating in any kind of social movement. That was basically my life before COVID. You know, I always say that with the October Revolution last year, and basically I'm doing my PhD about it, it was the first time in my 26 years when I feel Lebanese, not Christian, not Maronite, not from the north, no, just Lebanese, with no other description. And the feeling, believe me, is unbelievable. The fact that our generation is making this change happen, we are the main players in this change, is really meaningful. Because unfortunately, our parents and our grandparents were raised in a way, they do fear each other. They don't feel secure to live next to each other because this is the culture of war. And this is the culture that was on purpose implemented by our politicians, you know, to divide and rule by the end of the day. So for our generation to be aware that such differences should not divide the country, rather it should enrich it and enrich its culture. I mean, I'm having goosebumps right now. When the blast happened in Beirut, people felt that they don't have anything anymore to lose. So Corona won't be such a big deal for them anyway. When they lost their homes, their loved ones, their businesses. So suddenly people really felt indifferent about the virus, about the pandemic itself, and they just took to the streets. And last October, we celebrated the first anniversary of our social movement. And it was like a huge protest in Beirut. People were just there commemorating what they did and a kind of promising each other that they will continue fighting up until the realization of all of our goals, especially youth organizations. They launched really nice initiatives. For example, they put advertisements on social media telling all people that they are willing to go shopping for them and bringing them all what they need to their homes, just for them to stay safe. In my own neighborhood, the church decided to grant large pieces of land to people who are willing to plant and to distribute later on, for example, wheat and vegetables on all the neighborhoods so people can share, you know, what was planted and seeded, by the way. It's not always good to feel resilient. Sometimes it's really important to feel tired and to feel like you are on the edge of losing everything, because I do believe that's then when revolutions and social movements are born. One should be patient and should be also pragmatic. In an ethnically divided society and diverse society as Lebanon, it's not that easy for a change to take place. You know, you are talking about 18 religious sects. This is huge. And you are talking about a consociational system that has been there since 1943 with no reform. So basically, it's not logical to ask young people to make a change overnight and like a deep-rooted change. No, it's kind of, we are step by step heading towards the Lebanon we are aiming and we are dreaming of. My ambition is to play a role in a positive political change in Lebanon. This is a dream since I was like a little kid. For the world, I know it's a cliched answer, but basically, Samir, I really dream of peace. I dream of the day where the news will be, for example, the president of this country met with the president of this country to discuss health issues, educational issues, not to, for example, discuss their intervention in a conflict in another country. So this is a dream. And I know that always people say, yeah, peace, peace, but no, I really want to feel peace. I am thirsty for peace. I feel this thirst for peace, and it's not there. It's not there. We still have a long way there, but I hope that before I die, at least, I can feel just like, you know, a slight of it.
I'm Janis Schilling. I'm from Germany, and now I live in Karlsruhe. That's a little bit southwest in Germany. And at the moment, I'm studying mechanical engineering at the KIT. And besides that, I have a job as a working student. Yes, and for the program I'm part of is Balu und Du. It's a German program. I think it's all over Germany. We try to help children which have disadvantages from their childhood. We're doing stuff like going swimming, making science experiments, or just playing games and have fun together. The first meeting where all people meet together and we get to know each other, we had to cancel it, and so everyone was meeting his Mowgli at home. And yeah, it was a little bit sad because we don't know the other Mowglis or the other mentors. We know them by from our video conferences when we do like weekly meetings. But many of the teams just meet online, and I think it's okay, but it's not the same as you meet in person. And I think there's a strong relationship when you meet in person, but it's not as strong when you meet only online. So I'm very lucky that my Mowgli, he's the only child in his family, and so he has a computer and we can always meet up, and he also can go to school with his computer or just do online school with his computer. But it's very different in the whole Balu and Do program, because there are sometimes family who have 4 or more children, and so they don't have enough computers. Maybe they have some smartphones, but not everyone can do online schooling or just meet their Balus online. It's not that easy, and the difference in our groups is very high. There's a big gap between rich people and poor people, and that some people through the pandemic even got more money or got richer, and many poor people are staying back and don't get enough support from the other society or from our state. At the start, there were like many people around who wanted to help other people, and especially older people during the start of the pandemic. And also, I know next to my home, there's a church where they give food to people who have not enough money to buy their own food. And it started, I think, like 2 weeks after the pandemic, and there's now a lot. I think they're giving food to over 50 people, and spending not only food but talking to them and helping them to get to live a better life.
Yes, I think this is a project that became even more important throughout the pandemic.
Yes, and as we can see, for now we have testimonies from Lebanon, from Germany. Some of the interviews were conducted in the UK. Svenja, for the people who are curious, can you remind us how we selected the candidates for EuroMed Citizen Reporters?
Yes, of course. We asked, at first we asked the head of networks of the national networks of the Anna Lindh Foundation, as well as the Young Mediterranean Voices program, to recommend active citizens of their respective networks. And the national networks of the Anna Lindh Foundation hold a real treasure of talented and creative, engaged citizens who are working in their communities. For me, they are providing so many examples of how people are holding their communities and neighborhoods together. And I think this gives hope, especially in face of the divisions of societies that we can see in many countries at the moment.
So Svenja, we are talking about the Anna Lindh Foundation. Anna Lindh was a Swedish politician. Can you tell us more about what the Anna Lindh Foundation is doing and what is it all about?
Yes, of course. The Anna Lindh Foundation sees itself as a network of networks where more than 4,500 members from 42 countries who are working in civil societies in their respective countries are united, and they meet and collaborate with each other, mainly in the field of culture and education. And the countries involved, the 42 countries, are Mediterranean neighboring countries as well as EU member states. And the secretariat of the entire foundation is based in Alexandria in Egypt.
And just next to Egypt, we have Libya, and we have a wonderful reporter there. Her name is Nisa. I met her a few years ago, 3 years ago, also in Malta. We met so many incredible people at that time. And she's a youth activist and an environmental activist. And so what I propose is we can listen to her interview right now.
My name is Nisa Beck. I'm an activist from Libya. I work with civil society. However, the focus of my activism is social change as well as climate change related issues and plastic pollution. I am a founder of a project here in Libya that works on promoting and teaching others SDGs and hopefully achieving SDGs by 2030 here in the city of Tripoli, which is the capital of the country. I think I was one of the few people around the world who heard about it when it happened in September 2019, I mean. Because I'm following a lot of Asian pages and Chinese pages, and I'm trying to stay up to date with the politics and the kind of problems that they have there. So like I said, I'm a climate activist. So one of the things that I'm interested about is animal rights. And China is considered one of the countries that do great violation, not just towards humans, but as towards animals as well, when it comes to meat trade, for example. What I didn't expect is that it will affect the entire globe. So by the time April came, I was in complete shock because it's already spread everywhere, including my own country, Libya, which is so far from China. But at the same time, before things really got bad, I was slightly actually happy about it, because I know that in the upcoming years, we're going to be facing so many problems related to climate change and the abuses that humans do every day to nature. So what I thought is that this is a good wake-up call. This is just sort of a trailer to what's going to happen in the upcoming years. But of course, losing so many people was really bad. I'm just hoping that, like I said, this could be a very good lesson for humanity in order to change a lot of our practices. We were planning on having our first environmental awareness week in Libya this year. However, we had to put everything on hold and we weren't able to do any activity. And with the bad internet connection in Libya, I just didn't think it's going to be a good thing to introduce online activities. So instead, we literally stopped everything. And Project Hulan haven't done anything the entire year. I'm encouraging the team members, as well as myself, to use their own platforms online, social media, in order to talk about the causes that we usually put together projects for. And I'm trying to make some movements online, but as a person, not part of a team. So I think every person now individually need to start their own activity separately, and then together we can make a digital movement rather than having them all work together at the same time. Because like I said, if I have internet now, it doesn't mean that my colleague will have it. In Libya, civil society died completely during the pandemic because of how unprepared they were, which is really, really sad actually, because that shows how the infrastructure of the civil society in Libya is really, really bad. I mean, prior to the revolution, we didn't have civil society, so it's kind of a new thing. However, 10 years, that's long enough for you to build a good infrastructure for the civil society organizations. And the pandemic really showed how bad it is, their response, and also the way that they plan their project. So you also notice the nature of civil society organizations usually focused around very, very specific problems in the society. So when the pandemic happened, I noticed that there isn't a lot or any civil society organizations or youth initiatives related to health. So my dream and the ultimate goal that I really, really would love to do, and it's something that one day when I leave the world, I think that would be my legacy, is that I really wish to take advantage of the space here in Libya. See, now if you are more aware of the Libyan or like Libya as a state, you will notice that all the major cities are in the north. They're all over, scattered all over the coast. And then we have this huge desert in the south, and nobody's using it for anything. And that's the place that I would love to build a sanctuary, a natural sanctuary. It would be very large because we have the space for it, and it could be sponsored by the state. And that's where all animals and plants of the African continent, we could be taking care of it, nurturing it, and making sure that it lasts for decades, because so many animals in this region are endangered of extinction, and nobody cares, not the state, because no one is aware of how large this issue is and how serious it is. So my goal is to build this sanctuary.
So what this video of Nisa shows is that the interviewees act in this project as witnesses and give insights into things happening in their societies, and these are direct and personal insights, and that often give another perspective than the perspective provided by the media.
And what I love to see is we have more than 50 interviews from really many different countries, north and south around the Mediterranean. And we can see a unique perspective according to the country. And we can see also some major same issues that they are facing. And this is really an inspiration. And what's beautiful is when those organizations start to collaborate for common goals and common projects. And I hope that this platform also helps those people, those activists, to connect and to put their project at a higher level in the future. So what I can propose is we can watch 3 videos now, one from Croatia, one from Morocco, and one from Egypt, acting in different and various fields, but really inspiring. So let's watch those 3 videos now.
Hi, I'm Mladen from Croatia, living in Zagreb, and I'm involved in a kind of grassroots initiative of alpinists and speleologists that are responding to the earthquakes happening in Croatia, in Zagreb and in Petrinja. In Croatia, there were 2 earthquakes in 2020, and I joined the initiative of self-organized alpinists, height workers, and speleologists that dealt with eliminating threats from the rooftops in the areas where the earthquake hit. We didn't know in Zagreb that the Zagreb initiative and the earthquake, which had less consequences than the Petrinja one, was kind of like a training ground for us. Because when the Petrinja earthquake hit, we were practically all ready. We had like a structure of our initiative in place. We phoned each other in a matter of half an hour after the earthquake was felt in Zagreb, and we immediately went to Petrinja to help out. But we kind of hope that this time the state authorities will be more adept to handling the crisis situation. But unfortunately, when we came there, it was total chaos. So then a couple of us decided that we should really kind of put our initiative in place again, start things up. And from then on, it kind of grew. It grew in a sense of more organization, more logistics. And in 2 weeks, we were able to visit over 1,000 locations. And in some places we took down dangerous chimneys, in other places we fixed roofs so the rain wouldn't come in. And yeah, it was quite a strange sight to see. In Croatia, the media surely doesn't display the pandemic as I think as it should be, because they put out raw numbers, they don't put out statistics, and mostly people that are talking about it in the media about the pandemic are actually not epidemiologists. And if they are in Croatia, they mostly have a political background. They are members of the ruling party. So it's very strange, because at the same time, you get different information, contradicting information about how the virus affects your health, which measures are good, which are not, and there is no kind of middle ground, so you know what's happening. So I believe that in general, people are participating in like civil activities more. And one of the great examples is the earthquakes that happened at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021 in Petrinja and Sisak, where you had loads of people all over Croatia delivering supplies and helping out the people that were affected by this natural disaster. And I think the pandemic is kind of a reason for it, because of the social distance and because of kind of alienating from like public places and friends we know. We all feel sort of helpless dealing with it. And when something tragic happens, you have such a strong urge to help out, and a lot of people responded. I'm not sure how the pandemic will influence the border relationship between countries, but I think for people, my experience is that the closing of the borders is perceived as a negative thing. And mostly in society, people who propagated the idea that the borders should be closed, we're kind of silenced now because people want to go places. They don't want restrictions. They don't want, I mean, they want the freedom to move. And during this pandemic, it was pretty much hampered, you know. And generally, I think that the people are now beginning to see how this kind of openness, at least in the EU countries, is important.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Leila Kadioui et je suis cofondatrice et bénévole à Kitabi, la bibliothèque itinérante. Kitabi, qui veut dire mon livre en arabe, est un projet porté par l'association FM21 et a pour objectif d'encourager la lecture pour le plaisir chez les enfants dans le milieu rural. Nous avons un bus qui nous a été donné par l'Initiative nationale du développement humain et une équipe de volontaires qui se rendent tous les jours de la semaine dans 5 écoles primaires publiques de la région de Marrakech pour que les enfants puissent emprunter des livres. L'enthousiasme des enfants à l'arrivée du bus fait vraiment chaud au cœur car pour certains c'est la première BD, conte ou roman qu'ils emmènent chez eux et vraiment l'objectif de Kitabi est de donner accès aux livres à ces enfants issus de milieux défavorisés et vivant dans des régions reculées avec peu d'infrastructures et de moyens. Après 3 années d'activité, nous avons jugé nécessaire d'élargir notre champ d'action et nous nous sommes lancés dans la construction de bibliothèques locales fixes et dans l'amélioration des installations sanitaires pour que le bibliobus puisse desservir encore plus d'écoles. Nous sommes constamment à la recherche de financement pour nos projets et avons pour objectif à long terme d'élargir géographiquement notre action.
Hi, I'm Ahmed Yassin. In the first place, I'm working as a solar engineer. And a solar engineer in designing the solar panels, and I'm really interested and passionate about environment. But on the other level, I work running 2 NGOs. One is called MAC Club, or Make a Contribution Club, which works for the social development, and it was founded since 2011, working with the youth, the civic education, and other sort of things that help and support the community and especially the youth, of course. And recently I've been working in several SDGs in our community and the issues facing the Egyptian, or to be specific, the Alexandrian community, the city I'm coming from. And on the other side, I'm running Ballastic, and it's like a social enterprise which is focusing on to ban the single-use plastic. What we're doing is offering alternative for the single-use plastics, offering green services like beach cleanups. Recently, I've been also directing the hubs of the Young Mediterranean Voices. To Make a Contribution Club, we got more than we can say on 6 or 7 years, more than 2,000 volunteers have been working extensively on our activities. I tried my best that we can comfort the people that they will come back, but we need to meet online to transform all our activities, which was very, very difficult and challenging. So we tried our best to to keep the people in the loop of volunteering and not be, what we call it, like bored. And the volunteer is a gem or a gemstone which needs to be polished every now and then. Ballastic, we've been doing beach cleanups, but the beaches were, empty, so it was a very easy task. And I can say that we have a chance to make a sort of a massive campaign regarding, the north coast of Egypt to be like off single-use plastic. So it's we removed more than 6 tons of plastic, which was there before even the beach visitors are visiting the beach or having, their summertime or the summer vacation. So it's been, ups and downs, but the experience itself can be exceptional when you tell you sons and daughters and then the distant future or the near future that you've been in a pandemic and you're doing work still. So it's different. It's a very different experience and exceptional one.
And that was the interview of Ahmed. And this is just an amazing person. And I know sometimes we have dreams of becoming firemen, astronauts. Even if I'm 34, when I grow up, I would like to be like Ahmed, because he has many amazing projects. And I know he started from scratch, and he inspired people through also his own actions. And now he has a seat at the highest level and trying to change the minds and hearts of the people around him about the environment. And for me, this is just amazing. So he's really a source of inspiration, and a personal thanks to you, Ahmed.
And now the next video is a very recent one. Its main character is Karim Arfa, a painter who lives in the south of Tunis. And his motto is Mieux vaut allumer une bougie que maudire l'obscurité. Better to light a candle than curse the darkness. And he had heard that a village in the rural area close to Tunis was regularly cut off from the world because an unsafe bridge made of wooden planks had not been renewed. The students from this village could not go to school when it rained heavily in the area. So he decided for self-help and built a bridge in his workshop south of Tunis. The material was then transported under difficult conditions with the help of donkeys and installed between the banks of the Wadi in Oulet Flama with the support of the local authorities. And the bridge was finally inaugurated in February 2021. And yeah, this is one of the stories that is very typical for our project that we wanted to share.
And you really liked this story, Svenja. Can you tell us how you heard about this initiative and why you wanted it to be part of the EuroMed Citizen Reporters initiative?
Yeah, Karim Arfa was one of the protagonists on a mission on German TV, and this is something that we wanted to. This story is something that we wanted to share throughout the entire region. Yeah, and yeah, let's have a look at this interview now, and after that we will watch the one of Welcoming Hostel, an initiative in Athens that brings together refugees, local citizens and tourists.
أكثر شيء أفتخر به هو دعاء الناس لسعادة الأطفال في الأرياف. قلت عديد المرات أنه الفرحة في أعين الصغار تجعلك سعيد لأيام وأيام. هذا حافز معنوي كبير، وكلمات الشكر في الشارع التونسي في المكان الذي أخدم فيه هي أكبر حافز لأواصل في هذا المشروع. في تونس أثرت الأزمة اقتصادياً واجتماعياً، خاصة عن الفئات الهشة كالضعيفي الدخل، نقولوا احنا العامل اليومي، هذاك أثرت عليهم الجائحة بصفة كبيرة. نتمنى الجائحة هذه ما تبقاش أكثر، لأن هناك ظروف صعبة جداً يعانيها بعض فئات الشعب. ثم في خلال الوباء ثم نشاط، نشوفوا نشاط في المجتمع المدني في التعقيم وفي المساعدات الإنسانية لذوي الاحتياجات. هذا اللي يريد مواطنين، إخوة مواطنين يعاونوا في بعضهم البعض. ريت حاجات باهية في الجائحة، كما شفنا الوباء أخذ منا أقرب الناس، هنا شفنا حاجات باهية أخرى. إن شاء الله تكون تكمل هكا إن شاء الله. إن شاء الله بعد الجائحة تتبدل عديد الأشياء، ونشوفوا اللي ثم حاجة اللي هي تخلي الشعوب الكل كيف بعضها، مثل بعضها البعض. بوعي المواطن أول حاجة باش تمر الأزمة دي نكونوا كلنا بخير وتتبدل الخريطة بصفة عامة. معا لنكون بخير، معا من أجل السلام، من أجل معا لنكون الأفضل.
The Welcome Hostel is not just a nice hostel. It is also a place for social gathering and integration, a center for innovation and art, as well as an environmentally friendly building. Here, Greek locals, migrants, refugees, volunteers and tourists come together to share their experiences and benefit from each other. 2 floors of the Welcome and Hostel are used as an open center for social empowerment and inclusion, where art, European culture and languages courses are given, and green cyclic economy, energy efficiency actions, city visits and seminars are organized according to the requests of the residents. Volunteers from Greece and different European countries support the social and ecological and entrepreneurial work in the hostel. The other 5 floors are used for accommodation with single, double, and up to 8 beds rooms for refugees and tourists. The common kitchen, the bar, and the ground floor enable cultural exchange and the possibility to meet new people and learn from each other. If you want to find out more about Welcome and Hostel and get in touch with us, please have a look at www.welcomeandhostel.gr.
So one of our objectives in this project was to bring engaged citizens who are working in their communities in touch with each other to strengthen civil society across borders. So that is why we collected initiatives like the Welcome and Hostel on our website, providing the most important information also on how to contact the people in charge. Not only in the videos, but also in small graphics containing all the information. So if you're looking for a partner organization to create a new project or just for a personal exchange, then feel free to use these resources on our website. And you can also use the membership database of the Anna Lindh Foundation, since, as already mentioned, the network has more than 4,500 members of civil society organizations. You can certainly find the right partner for matchmaking on the website of the Anna Lindh Foundation.org and the subsite Our Networks.
And you said a word that is really important. It's resources. And if there is one person who took advantage of every opportunity she had to be better, to have a positive input, would be Lara Caspari, our last interview of this session. She was a student at the Bethlehem University in Palestine, and she was studying also in Dublin, where she had this interview with us, and she's really inspiring. She was in numerous associations, and she also wants to change the world. And that was a beautiful interview. And yeah, my proposition is just to listen to Lara right now.
Let's do that.
My name is Lara Caspari. I'm from Palestine. I came to Dublin in 2019 to do my Master's of Science in International Relations at University College Dublin. I'm involved in several projects. I'm a member of the steering committee of an organization called Girls 20 that aims to place young women at the center of decision-making processes. I'm also an officer in the Advisory Council of Tech Girls, which is an exchange program designed to empower and inspire young women from different places such as the Middle East and North Africa to pursue careers in science and technology. When the pandemic started, I was still doing my master's in Dublin. And I think the way the pandemic affected me mostly is socially. And I think because, exchange and international students had a very unique experience with the pandemic. Being far away from their families in the middle of a crisis is very challenging. In a situation like this, you would want to be home around your family, and that is something was not possible at the moment. also because I had a master's to finish and a research to do in the summer, and I also didn't want to travel and risk my health or my parents' health and my family back home. So it was very challenging in being abroad, far away from home, and not being able to go back home, and also being relatively new to a new city, a new environment, and under lockdown. You know, those interactions and connections that are made on a daily basis, once they were gone, I realized how important they were. I mean, what supported me the most, and I think what supported a lot of international students, is the ability to connect online through digital platforms. And despite the distance, I was able to talk to my family, I was able to talk to my friends and stay connected. There's a global increase in domestic violence during the pandemic. And it really also showed and exposed the fragility of the resources and the support that are available for those affected. But this, you know, this kind of thing enabled activists to, you know, bring attention to this issue, speak up more about it, and really push forward for more better resources to support, for example, women who face domestic violence. I come from Bethlehem, in Palestine. I've lived there most of my life, and Bethlehem is a very touristic city, and as you can imagine, during the pandemic there's not a lot of tourists coming to Bethlehem, so it's really struggling and suffering from a lot of economical difficulties and challenges. One of the really amazing initiatives I've seen is the community really coming together in such a situation. So for example, the initiative that I've seen is they brought in donations and created boxes of essentials, from food to even health related essentials such as sanitizers and things like that, together in kind of an essential box, and given out to families who were most damaged or from the pandemic or affected from the pandemic. So those kind of initiatives are super important. They may seem really simple, but they make a huge difference to the community, because each donation, each initiative makes a big difference, no matter how small it is. It is really making a huge difference. I think that's something very important, that each activist to remember, that each act of kindness, each act of initiative makes a difference in someone's life, and that really changes the world around us. I think what I'm most proud about is the ability to speak up about those issues, especially of gender equality within my community, and seeing the change firsthand. I think experience the impact of, speaking up and activism within my surrounding community and seeing the results is what really keeps me going and what motivates me to stay active in the domain of advocacy and activism. For example, I've given workshops about feminism and advocacy, especially in areas of conflict, and having those conversations with other people and raising awareness about these issues, I think is what I'm really proud of and really happy to share with the people, because I've really seen the difference in I don't know how to explain it, but it's when people come back to me after a workshop and say, that was so informative, or that really changed the way I think, and that really motivates me to take action in my own community, or I want to hold a similar workshop in my community as well and talk about gender equality. That is amazing to me and really powerful, and a really strong personal motivator for me to continue to talk about really important issues such as gender equality in my community. What I want to be remembered for, I think that's such a deep philosophical question that is important to ask ourselves as well. But I guess if I wanted to be remembered for something, I'd say that, you know, remembered for this funny Palestinian girl that believed that each act of kindness can change the world, that was crazy enough to believe that we can all live together in peace and in a loving kind of world.
I'm happy that we were able to share this selection of videos, but it's a pity that we had to make this difficult choice and to pick only a few, since there are so many more videos that are worth to be discovered. So I would like to invite everyone to go to our website, EuroMedCitizenReporters.org, which is also translated into French and Arabic, and use the hashtag EC Reporters if you want to share or recommend our project. That would be really nice for us. And also, please take a look at our map to discover all these initiatives and great activities done by civil society in the EuroMed region.
Yes, a part of our project was to create an interactive map. So if you go on our website right now, EuroMedCitizenReporters.org, you can see this interactive map with all the interviews that we did and some of the initiatives also that we encountered. And this is a live map. So if you have initiatives that you absolutely want to see appear in this, that could be a huge resource, for example, or an inspiration for others, please use the hashtag EC Reporters, and on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and we will try our best to keep it updated quite regularly. So this is your project. You are the activists, most of you who are watching this this session with us. And yes, hopefully the project will continue with you and bring more energies to the table. This project was also to say thank you to all the activists for all the efforts that we see and the efforts that we don't see, because we know this pandemic affected a lot of people in so many numerous ways that we can't really comprehend. So it was also a project to say thank you and to recognize their work and their amazing ability to provide values for others and to really be in solidarity with the more vulnerable, with really amazing projects that just blew our minds. So really, thank you from the bottom of our heart. And this project was possible with numerous partners. And Svenja, you know the list.
Yes, yeah. I would also like to express my thanks to all the active citizens who contributed to this project with their personal stories and by presenting their initiatives, sharing their experiences, knowledge, and skills, as well as the challenges and fears and risks they were facing in these difficult times. Special thanks to our supporters, the Foreign Office, the Anna Lindh Foundation, the Candid Foundation, and here especially Yasmin, and the Goethe Institute, as well as Mareike Huay, Christina, Safa, Yossach, Zacha, Judith, and Johanna, Paul, and Clemens. And now we hope to meet you all in person soon. We would like to thank all of you and invite you to discover our project on the social media channels and on our website.
Thank you so much, Svenja. I will add one last thing. Sometimes we are overwhelmed with some informations or some stories about amazing initiatives or activists. For example, I'm very sensitive to everything related to human rights or the environment, but I am no expert in those fields. But what I can do is, for example, tell a story. And this is why, after meeting so many incredible initiatives and leaders in those areas, I know I can tell their story also. And this is why, for example, by the end of the year, I want to start to make a documentary about those topics. So even though you're not expert on some questions, you can always bring your talent and your energy to change things. And please just use the hashtag and contact personally those initiatives, because everybody can do something to change the world. We all dream to live in a better place, and we have so many initiatives to do that. We just need to dare to do it, to be brave to do it. And yes, maybe one of your initiatives in the future will appear in this interactive map. Really, thank you for everybody watching. Thank you, Svenja. It was a blast. I knew you through the Annalyn Foundation, and I was happy to become your friend also during this project. And that's a really beautiful gift. So I love you all. Thank you, and see you soon for our next project. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you, Samir. Goodbye.
Bye.